and a very warm welcome to the news on Sunset TV. I'm Isha Shah. Over the next 30 minutes, we'll take a look at the top stories of the day. But first, let's get started with the headlines. Voting for all 68 assembly seats ends in Himachal Pradesh. Over 65% voting till 5 p.m. Fate of 412 candidates, including Chief Minister, sealed in EVMs. Campaigning intensifies in Gujarat. Congress manifesto promises 10 lakh jobs, old pension, free electricity. BJP announces 6 more candidates. Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar addresses the 19th ASEAN-India Summit in Phnom Penh. India and ASEAN resolve to enhance comprehensive strategic partnership and cooperation against terrorism. India fast emerging as the preferred destination for global investors. Prime Minister Modi launches projects worth thousands of crores in Andhra Pradesh and Telangana, says schemes like PM Gati Shakti Yojana speeding up development. And Kherson celebrates the exit of Russian forces. Jubilant residents welcome Ukrainian troops in the city. And now, a quick look at our Flash News segment. Home Ministry to host representatives of 75 countries at 3rd Ministerial Conference on Countering Financing of Terrorism on the 18th and 19th of November in New Delhi. RBI Governor Shaktikanta Das says India will remain the fastest growing major economy in the 2022-23 year with estimated growth rate of 7%. CBI files charge sheet against 24 people, including former BSF commandant in the J&K Police Sub-Inspector recruitment scam. India's first privately developed rocket, Vikram S, set for a 15th November launch on a suborbital mission. Maiden mission of Skyroot Aerospace Prarambh will carry 3 payloads. Bilateral air exercise of Indian Air Force and the French Air and Space Force exercise Garud the 7th ends at Air Force Station in Jodhpur. Tribal Affairs Ministry plans nationwide celebrations to mark the Janjatiya Gaurav Divas on the 15th of November. The day is dedicated to recollecting the contributions of tribal communities in the nation's history. Cochin Shipyard signs MOU with Inland Waterways Authority of India to build the first hydrogen fuel cell catamaran vessel for Varanasi. UN's Human Rights Council will hold a special session on the 24th of November on the crackdown on protesters, threats against journalists and human rights violations in Iran. US President Joe Biden promises that United States will work with a strategically vital coalition of Southeast Asian nations. And scientists in Washington repurpose the cancer immunotherapy technique, CAR T cell therapy, to treat the COVID-19 virus. And news now from the poll-bound states of Gujarat and Himachal Pradesh. The political fate of the candidates for the assembly elections in Himachal Pradesh has been sealed in the EVMs. According to the Election Commission, nearly 66% polling was recorded till 5 p.m. today. Voting took place from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. for 68 assembly seats in Himachal Pradesh. 412 candidates are in the fray in the elections. A lot of enthusiasm was seen among the voters as they braved cold weather to cast their votes in large numbers. A spurt in voting was seen afternoon.
The final percentage, of course, will be known once all the polling parties return. But as per the reports received till 5 o'clock, which is an approximate figure. The approximate turnout is about 66% till that time, as reported till that time.
Leaders of various parties in the state also voted in the elections. BJP President JP Nadda cast his vote at a polling station in Vijaypur in Bilaspur. Former Himachal Pradesh Chief Minister Prem Kumar Dhumal, his son and Union Minister Anurag Thakur and their families also cast their vote. State Chief Minister Jairam Thakur voted in the Siraj Assembly. Himachal Pradesh Congress President Pratibha Singh voted at the polling station of Rampur. Congress leader Anand Sharma cast his vote at Longwood in Shimla. And turning to Gujarat now, where the Congress party released its poll manifesto for the assembly elections. It has promised 10 lakh jobs, LPG cylinders at 500 rupees and 300 units of free electricity every month. The Congress, which has been voted out of power in Gujarat for over 2 decades, has also promised unemployment allowance of 3,000 rupees per month. Among other SOPs, the party has offered to provide 2,000 rupees pension to Divyangs, widows, senior citizens and needy women and waiver of loans of up to 3 lakh rupees for all fishermen. The party has also promised to discard the new pension scheme in Gujarat and implement the old pension scheme if it is voted back to power.
शिक्षा हो या स्वास्थ्य सेवाएं हो या किसान मुद्दे हों, तमाम मुद्दों का समावेश किया गया है। और यहाँ पे भी आप देखेंगे कि सरकार बनने के बाद में पहले कैबिनेट के अंदर यही मैनिफेस्टो जो है वो सरकारी डॉक्यूमेंट बन जाएगा, मैं आपको विश्वास दिलाता हूँ।
And now, news from the ASEAN Summit in Cambodia, where Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar addressed the 19th ASEAN-India Summit today. India announced an additional contribution of $5 million to the ASEAN-India Science and Technology Fund to enhance cooperation in sectors of public health, renewable energy and smart agriculture. This year marks the 30th anniversary of ASEAN-India relations and is being celebrated as the ASEAN-India Friendship Year. Let's take a look at this report.
Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar met with Association of Southeast Asian Nations ASEAN leaders during a summit in Cambodia on Saturday. Before addressing the summit, Dhankar and Cambodian Prime Minister Hun Sen held discussions on ways to further enhance bilateral ties, including in areas like human resources, demining and development projects.
India places great value on ASEAN as an important pillar of regional, multilateral and global order. India supports ASEAN centrality in the evolving architecture in the Indo-Pacific. India and ASEAN share the common vision of ensuring peace, prosperity and stability in the region.
The ASEAN member states and India sought to strengthen cooperation on cybersecurity by establishing new dialogue platforms between India and the 10-member bloc. In a joint statement, they acknowledged the deep civilizational linkages, maritime connectivity and cross-cultural exchanges between Southeast Asia and India, which have grown stronger over the last 30 years, providing a strong foundation for ASEAN-India relations. India and ASEAN nations also declared to enhance cooperation in the digital economy through a series of regional capacity building activities in digital transformation, digital trade, digital skills and innovation, as well as hackathons. They also said that they would enhance cooperation in smart agriculture, including the exchange of best practices in the use of new technologies to develop a future-ready, resilient and sustainable food supply. Bureau Report, Sunset TV.
India and Cambodia have signed 4 MOUs in areas of culture, wildlife and health. Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar and Cambodian Prime Minister Hun Sen witnessed the signing of agreements. The MOUs included in the field of health and medicine between the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare of India and Ministry of Health, Cambodia. The second MOU was signed regarding the reintroduction of tigers in Cambodia. Another MOU was signed between IIT Jodhpur and Institute of Technology, Cambodia in the field of research, development and application of technology for digital documentation of cultural heritage. The last MOU was signed on financing agreement on conservation and preservation of Wat Raja Bo Pagoda paintings in Cambodia. Now, India's ambassador to Cambodia, Devyani Khobragade, spoke to Sansad TV to give us a detailed insight into the developments on Saturday. Let's listen in.
Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar held a bilateral meeting with the Cambodian leadership today on the sidelines of the ASEAN-India Summit. Both India and Cambodia signed 4 MOUs. We caught up with India's ambassador to Cambodia, Ms. Devyani Khobragade. She'll help us understand better on how these MOUs will further elevate ties between India and Cambodia. Ambassador, welcome to Sansad TV. Help us and our viewers understand the significance of the MOUs that have been signed. How are they going to further strengthen our relationship?
Thank you. So we signed 4 MOUs in presence of Honorable Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar ji. One of them was on health cooperation between India and Cambodia. As we are leaders in medical fields, and Cambodia is, we receive a lot of medical tourism from Cambodia to India. The second MOU was signed to preserve Ramayana murals in Siem Reap in a living pagoda called the Wat Bo Pagoda, and this is part of our extension of our soft power diplomacy, as we are connected to the ASEAN region through civilizational ties, and each of these countries have their own Ramayanas and Mahabharata, of course originating from the Mahabharata and Ramayana in India. The third MOU that we signed was for preservation of cultural heritage in the digital sphere, and the fourth, but the most interesting MOU was on preserving the tiger habitat and reintroduction of tiger from India to Cambodia.
Wide-ranging MOUs, ranging from health to wildlife and biodiversity to preservation of tigers. Just a few weeks ago, in fact a few months ago, India reintroduced cheetahs into its wildlife, and a similar thing that we are now trying with Cambodia, this time in preserving and conserving tigers here.
Now, on day 2 of his Cambodia visit, Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar met with leaders of several countries and discussed ways to strengthen bilateral ties. Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar met with Vietnam Prime Minister Pham Minh Chinh on the sidelines of the ASEAN Summit. The two leaders discussed promoting comprehensive strategic partnership between the two countries. They also reiterated their commitment to work together in the areas of trade, economy, security and culture. Vice President called on His Majesty Norodom Sihamoni, the King of Cambodia, at the Royal Palace in Phnom Penh. They discussed ways to strengthen bilateral relations between the two countries. He also met with the chairman of the Senate of Cambodia. In the meeting, the two leaders discussed ways to strengthen relations between parliamentarians of the two countries through training programs. Vice President Dhankar also visited the historic National Museum in Phnom Penh. He wrote in the visitor's book that it was a pleasure to see the marvelous works of Khmer and art depicting the close civilizational links between India and Cambodia from the old times. And back to India now, where Prime Minister Narendra Modi addressed party workers near Begumpet Airport in Telangana. Targeting the TRS government of the state, Prime Minister Modi said that he regrets that the people who flourished and came to power in the name of Telangana have pushed it backward. He accused the government of Telangana of doing injustice with the potential and talent of the people of the state. The Prime Minister expressed confidence that the lotus will bloom everywhere in the state.
सुशासन और तेज विकास की आकांक्षा कितनी प्रबल है, अब तेलंगाना के लोग एक परिवार के बजाय तेलंगाना के हर परिवार के लिए काम करने वाली सरकार चाहते हैं, भाजपा की सरकार चाहते हैं।
Now, Prime Minister Modi also laid the foundation stones and inaugurated development projects worth over 10,000 crore rupees in Telangana. Dedicating to the nation the urea plant of Ramagundam Fertilizers Chemicals Limited, he asserted that development is a 24-hour, 12-month nationwide mission for his government. The Prime Minister also dedicated the new railway line between Bhadrachalam Road and Sattupalli to the nation.
इस प्लांट की वजह से इसके आसपास दूसरे बिजनेस के अवसर बनेंगे, लॉजिस्टिक और ट्रांसपोर्ट से जुड़े काम खुलेंगे, यानी 6,000 करोड़ रुपए जो केंद्र सरकार ने यहां निवेश किया है, इससे कई हजार करोड़ का लाभ तेलंगाना के नौजवानों को होने वाला है।
Prime Minister Modi visited Ramagundam Fertilizers and Chemicals Limited plant. 2 decades after the closure of FCI's plant, the refurbished RFCL has been developed as a major fertilizer plant in the country. India has become the focal point of the world's expectations, Prime Minister Modi said today. He added that India is scripting a new development story. Addressing a public meeting in Visakhapatnam in Andhra Pradesh, Prime Minister Modi said that PM Gati Shakti Yojana has not just increased the speed of development but also reduced the costs of projects. Prime Minister Modi also said that supply chains and logistics depend on multimodal connectivity, and therefore his government was focused on the development of railways, road transport, ports and highways. He said that schemes like productivity-linked incentives and national infrastructure pipeline were attracting increased investments into the country. The Prime Minister launched projects worth more than 15,000 crore rupees in connectivity, oil and gas sector in the state. He said that these projects will power the growth of Andhra Pradesh.
इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर का ये इंटीग्रेटेड व्यू पीएम गति शक्ति नेशनल मास्टर प्लान की वजह से संभव हुआ है। गति शक्ति प्लान से न सिर्फ इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर निर्माण की रफ्तार तेज हुई है, बल्कि इससे परियोजनाओं पर लगने वाला खर्च भी कम हुआ है। मल्टी मॉडल ट्रांसपोर्ट सिस्टम ही हर शहर का भविष्य है और विशाखापट्टनम ने इस दिशा में कदम बढ़ा दिया है।
Now moving on, Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla addressed students at the convocation ceremony of the Mahatma Gandhi University of Medical Sciences and Technology in Jaipur. The speaker said that in the medical field, along with qualification, being sensitive and compassionate is also very important. He expressed hope that young medical professionals with new technology, skills and service will be dedicated to the welfare of the nation and humanity. He also presented degrees to the students during the function. The Lok Sabha Speaker also appealed to the medical students to contribute towards building a healthy India.
आपके पास अगर कोई बीमार व्यक्ति आते कि और बीमारी तक सीमित न रहें, आप मानवीय संवेदना के साथ उसके जीवन के साथ जुड़ें। जितना बीमारी का इलाज कर रहे उतनी मानवीय संवेदना के साथ आपके साथ जीवन से जुड़ेंगे तो उसको जल्दी स्वस्थ करेंगे, जल्दी सकुशल करेंगे। हम इस पेशे को मानव सेवा के पेशा मानकर इस उपाधि को प्राप्त कर यहां से निकलें और सभी को स्वस्थ रखने के संकल्प के साथ यहां निकलें।
The Lok Sabha Speaker also laid the foundation stone of Institute of Innovation and Research in Medicine at Mahatma Gandhi Hospital in Jaipur. He expressed hope that this institute would prove to be useful for new technology and innovations in the medical field. Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla also addressed the 62nd National Convention and Convocation of the National Academy of Medical Sciences in Jaipur. He said that today, in the field of medical science, research and innovations are taking place every day all over the world. He asserted that along with finding cure, it is also our responsibility to work for the prevention of diseases. Lok Sabha Speaker said that it is necessary to ensure that quality medical services are available in the villages of the country.
आने समय भारत नेतृत्व करे मेडिकल साइंस के अंदर, ये हमारे नौजवानों की क्षमता पर हमें भरोसा होना चाहिए। बीमारी होने के कारण को अगर ठीक से समझ लेंगे तो बीमारी होने से बचाएंगे तो एक ज्यादा बेहतर स्वस्थ भारत बना पाएंगे। और आप सब पर यह जिम्मेदारी है कि दूर दराज के गांव के अंदर बैठे व्यक्ति को भी हम स्वस्थ रख सकें, हमारे ज्ञान अनुभव का लाभ इस डिजिटल युग में दूर दराज में बैठे व्यक्ति को भी मिले।
And now, let's take a look at all that's happening in the Russia-Ukraine crisis. It was a moment of relief and joy for every resident of Kherson city and the nearby areas as Russian forces retreated and Ukrainian troops reclaimed the city. It marks a significant loss for Russia as it lost the only provincial capital that it had captured during its nearly 9-month-long war. Let's go through this report.
The city of Kherson burst out in celebrations as jubilant residents welcomed Ukrainian troops in the city on Friday after Russian forces made a retreat. Residents took to the streets waving Ukrainian flags and chanting in celebration. A Ukrainian flag flew over a monument in a central Kherson square for the first time since the city was seized in early March. Hours after Russia announced withdrawal of troops from the strategic city, Ukraine's president said that special military units had entered the city of Kherson. In the center of Ukraine's capital, Kiev, people gathered on Friday night to celebrate Russia's retreat. They waved flags and sang the Ukrainian anthem. Many said they were originally from Kherson but fled the area as the Russia forces invaded earlier this year. After the retreat, Ukrainian soldiers found abandoned weapons and ammunition in a village near Kherson city. Russia relinquished its final foothold in the major city on Friday, clearing the way for victorious Ukrainian forces to reclaim the country's only Russian-held provincial capital. Russia's defense ministry said its troops finished withdrawing from the western bank of the Dnipro River at 5 a.m. The withdrawal could act as a springboard for further advances into occupied territory. Bureau Report, Sansad TV.
And time now for some more global news in our World Wrap segment. Heavy rain due to Hurricane Nicole displaced hundreds of people from Georgia to the Canadian border on Friday. As waves washed over pieces of concrete blocks that once were part of homes at Wilbur by the Sea, workers tried to stabilize the remaining sections of land with rocks and dirt. Dozens of hotels and towers as tall as 22 stories were declared uninhabitable in Florida after seawater undercut the foundations. ASEAN leaders met with the leaders of China, Japan and South Korea on Saturday in their annual Roundtable Summit. Chinese Prime Minister told the gathering that East Asia was an important engine of world economic growth. He said that strengthening cooperation would promote economic development and help maintain the security and stability of international supply chains. China on Saturday launched the Long March 7 Y6 rocket carrying supplies to China's Tiangong space station. The Tianzhou 5 cargo spacecraft was blasted into space at 10:03 local time. Tiangong is currently populated by a crew of 2 male and 1 female astronauts, according to the China Manned Space Agency. Incumbent Democrat Mark Kelly defeated Republican Blake Masters on Friday to win a U.S. Senate seat in Arizona, a contest that left Democrats 1 seat short in the battle for control of the chamber, with 2 more races to be decided. The win by Kelly meant that the Democrats had battled to a 49-49 tie in the race for the Senate. And demonstrations over a delayed census went violent on Friday in Bolivia's largest city of Santa Cruz, marking 3 weeks of protests. Santa Cruz, a relatively wealthy farming hub and opposition bastion, has in recent days grinded to a halt due to a general strike demanding that authorities hold a census next year before the elections in 2025. Protesters clashed with government-aligned groups involving Molotov cocktails, motorcycles, firecrackers, stones and sticks. And time now for all the latest from the world of sports. England and Pakistan face off in the mega finals of the ICC T20 World Cup 2022 at the Melbourne Cricket Grounds tomorrow. Greg Barclay has been re-elected unopposed as the chairman of the ICC and will hold his second term for 2 more years. Earlier, the chairman of Zimbabwe Cricket, who was contesting against him, withdrew from the contest. It was a 1-2 finish for India in the 10-meter women's air rifle junior event, with Tilotama Sen and Nancy winning the gold and silver medals respectively at the 15th Asian Airgun Championship in Korea on Saturday. Mehuli Ghosh also won a gold in the women's 10-meter air rifle senior event. The world's best players have come together in Italy for the ATP Finals from the 13th to 20th of November. 22-time Grand Slam champion Rafael Nadal will take on world number 9 Taylor Fritz in the group stage of the 2022 ATP Finals on Sunday. And Haas's Kevin Magnussen grabbed the pole position for the Brazilian Grand Prix, the first for his career and his team. The event is scheduled to take place tomorrow. And with that, it's a wrap of the bulletin this weekend. Do stay tuned to Sunset TV for more news and updates round the clock. Thank you for watching. Good night.